What's good, people? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 148. And this chapter was a really good chapter, man. A big part of the reason why I liked it is we're seeing a continuation of what I really feel is a theme, or not so much a theme, but we're seeing a continuation of the fact that everyone in Luffy's crew has been in a situation where they've either displayed tremendous courage or guts, or they've been right beside Luffy when he was going into whatever was going on with the main antagonist for the arc. And I think that this is best displayed when you break it down from each character from when they joined Luffy. When you go with Zoro, and you go with Nami, and you go with Usopp, and you go with Sanji. Each of them were right beside Luffy when he took on the main antagonist whenever they were introduced. And the thing is in a situation like Nami was more so in a support role, but at least she was there. You know, she wasn't, hands down fighting. Same thing with Usopp. Usopp was there. Usopp tried to get in a little action, but for the most part, Usopp was playing the background. And that's why I think Chopper is going to be the next one who joins Luffy's crew, because at the end of this chapter, Luffy looks at Chopper and he says, you can handle this guy, right? And it's because he's got to take on, the fusion between Chess and the other guy that Chopper put together. I mean, not Chopper, but Wapol put together. And the thing is it just feels right. It feels like this is Luffy's way of testing Chopper to see if he's got what it takes to be a member of the Straw Hats. He's got the skill, the medical skills, but there's other things that it really seems like Luffy looks for in a crewmate. And I like how this chapter, when you just look at it, panel by panel, is showing it. And I really feel like maybe even this entire arc, because when you look at the fact that the arc started off with Nami being sick, and yet she was stubborn enough to try to keep navigating. It's the same thing, that she's a stubborn bitch, but she was going to see her job through until the end. When you look here with Sanji wanted to go assist Luffy, even though he's got a broken back according to the witch doctor. And that's why, I don't know what the hell she thought she was doing by kicking him in the lower back. But, and yes, I know she's trying to stop him from jumping in, but that seems like that would just make the injury worse. But Sanji was determined to try to help Luffy. And when you look at Usopp knows damn well that he can't carry Dalton, and yet he was willing to at least assist Dalton into getting to where he had to go. He was trying to see it through, that bravery, that conviction. That's what Zoro does. Maybe it's because later on in the week I'm going to be hanging out with that associate I told you about in the last review, who is the ultimate cock blocker, but Zoro just, scoops his ass up and steals Usopp's shine. But from a practical reason, Zoro had to do that because Usopp was damn near sinking into the snow because he couldn't handle him. And that's why all that training with Zoro comes in, because just looking at Dalton's frame, he's got to be about 230 pounds, man. So just right there, you needed Zoro to do that. You needed Zoro to kind of handle that little part right there. But even then, that's Zoro picking up the weight and charging forward. So just to see that we have each of the Straw Hat members at some point in this arc doing that, that's why I think Chopper is going to be the one who joins. I thought maybe it was going to be Vivi, and then it switched and it's like, oh, she doesn't have medical skills, so it can't be her. And she's a princess, and she's needed on an island. That's her purpose right now. So maybe she comes back into play later. I kind of doubt it, because it seems like after they get back to her village, or not so much her village, but try this again. So what I was saying about Vivi is I think that her story arc is getting ready to come to a close, which is why I definitely appreciate Chopper. I appreciate just seeing the test that Chopper is going through. I feel like Luffy is testing Chopper at this point, because Luffy looks at Chopper and he says, well, you've got a friend right here. And then right after that, he asks him, you can handle this guy, right? You can finish him off. But just seeing Luffy's conviction, I like that, because I think I said this in this review earlier. I've had to do about 3 or 4 takes on this, because My camera's been cutting off, so I think that I have it in this take. But the thing is every member of Luffy's crew has been right beside him whenever he's taking on the main antagonist for the arc when they get ready to join. And when you look at it, it's the same thing with Zoro, it's the same thing with Usopp, Nami, Sanji. It's all the same thing. If you go back to volume 2 with Nami, she was right there with Luffy. Now, granted, she didn't fight Buggy with him, but she assisted. And the same thing with Usopp with Kuro. He assisted in other ways. So I like seeing this, and I like the fact that Chopper's going to be fighting directly alongside Luffy. And I've gone on about just the comparison with the two, that I feel like if those two join up together, that it's going to make for some interesting, panel time. But at the same time, just looking at them, like the parallels between the two, it really feels like these two could have a very close relationship. I look at these two, and I'll go into the other two big three just to show you the difference on how Oda's doing this compared to the other two. I'm talking about Oda and I'm talking about Kubo, okay? And when you look at, I'll start with Kubo. Kubo had this opportunity with Kon and Ichigo, okay? He had an opportunity to further develop. Those two are similar in a way. Ichigo is more serious than anything else, but there was enough of a parallel there to where you could do some development, but Kon kind of got shafted to the background. When you look at the whole Naruto thing, right? When I read this chapter, the first scene from Naruto that came in my head was when Naruto was fighting against Obito and Madara. One of the things that came in my head from that scene was when Hinata is running alongside the rest of the shinobi. And if you guys have watched any of my Naruto videos, you know I can't fucking stand Hinata, okay? Like, I'm gonna do a Hinata sucks video sooner or later. But I can't stand Hinata. And she had this one scene where she's running and she's like, I want to fight alongside you and all this other shit. This works in this case. This works because if you just look at how Chopper's written, you look at how Hinata's written, it's night and day. Night and day. Hinata has the character development of dog shit. And this Hinata has the character development of a shit face emoji with the smiley face. Like, it's good to laugh at, but as soon as you delete the text message that you get the emoji in, you forget about it. Like, it's fuck Hinata. But when you look at Chopper and you see just how in this short period you find yourself rooting for him, you find yourself at the point where when he's asked, why are you fighting for these people? They called you the abominable snowman. Why do you even care? You care because you've seen the highs and lows with Chopper's character. You've seen it. And then, like I said, I don't want to go back to Luffy. When you see Luffy's facial expression and how much Luffy is rooting for him, it makes you want to root for Chopper, man. Like that's I mean, this is good character, really good character development. I'm very much loving this. And speaking of character development, one of the things that I did love was how Luffy stood by what it is that he values to be a pirate. And what I mean is, like, the values that he has, his ideals of what it makes to be a pirate. Because, like, when you think about it in real world situations, Luffy is like that little kid when you're in class and the teacher says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Luffy saying he wants to be a pirate is like that little kid saying, I want to be a bank robber. Like, that's basically what Luffy's doing. But Luffy sees the honor in it. And so when Wapol is shooting that cannonball at him, Luffy is holding on to that flag because of everything that it represents. And he takes the cannonball and just seeing and how he repeatedly says that this flag is going to stand no matter what. And you don't know what it really stands for. I love that. I absolutely love that. That was nice. I know there's probably going to be more epic scenes in One Piece, but that's probably one if, later on, when I try to get into a bigger space and everything, I'm gonna look for One Piece wallpaper scrolls, you know, that type of stuff, wall scrolls. I want that, man. Like that's a really nice shot, man. I don't really care for Nami's jacket on him. I think she might be pissed when she sees like the smoke marks and burn and everything, and but whatever. I love it. That was an epic scene, and that's actually going to be my chapter question for you guys: is what were your thoughts when you saw how far Luffy was willing to go to make sure that that flag continued to fly, and what do you think, or what did you think at this point Luffy thought it meant to be a pirate? You know, just lay it out. The top 3 things Luffy thought it meant to be a pirate. But that's it.